Sul Sul Vina Fredeshe The Sims. I've been practicing Simlish a little. Can you tell? And when last we left off, we did a tutorial with the newbie family here. And it's always a good idea to do a tutorial just to familiarise yourself with how the game is. Who knows? You can learn something that you'd forgotten previously, like for me with the spacebar and the P button for pausing the game. And now the game is open completely to us. Well, technically it was already completely open to us, but I did the tutorial first, and now we can do whatever we like. We can play as the newbie family, or the goth family, or the goth senior family, or the charming family, the hick family. There is the cat family there, and the burb family over there. They're all the families that are in the game right now. This area was the original area, and then in The Sims Unleashed all of this was added. And there is also a blank lot there for you building either a residential or commercial area. You can rezone them using this icon here. We could use this icon to evict every single person in this whole area and bulldoze all of their houses and have a flat terrain of nothing. But doing that would make this rather lifeless, I think, so we'll leave it as it is. Besides, I think we need some of these people to make friends with later. Or enemies, who can say? Because you really can do absolutely anything within what the game will let you. And with all the expansions, that is quite a lot of things. I mean, I could build a family and make them fantastically successful. I could get them very high-power jobs with high skill caps and loads of friends, and have them rake in the mega simoleons. I could also have them decide not to do that and instead just paint all day, or make gnomes, or I could have them just do anything. They could sit there and watch TV to their heart's content, going broke and then losing absolutely everything when people come to repossess all of their items. Because bills are indeed a thing this game has, and I think they're rather regular. I think maybe every 3 or 4 days. I'll find out soon enough, but really, you can do anything in this game. As long as the game will let you. I mean, you can go downtown, you can go on holiday, you can become a superstar, or you can go into a strange magical world by jumping down a hole. Haven't really done that much. May do it at some point. But I do have an idea as to what I want to do, and that is to create 2 families. 2 families with the same name. For I'm going to make 2 brothers that don't live together, and yet are part of the same family, and are very different to each other. But I haven't really thought of a family name right now. I really haven't thought of a family name. Do you know what? I'm going to call them Smith. Because why not, eh? They're going to be the Smith family. And this one is going to be the first of them. The default sim here is quite an interesting one with the massive golden necklace and the open shirt. And we're not going to be using that one. You can only really adjust 2 things about how they look, apart from being adult or child, or the skin color, or the gender. You can only adjust the all of the lower part below the head, or the head. And that is a pretty amazing beard there. We're going with that one. And I think we need to go and find a, there are basically, for men, there are 3 body types. There is very thin, there is a stocky one, and there's an average one. We're going to find one that will suit this character. Actually, that rather suits, wouldn't you say? We'll go with that, shall we? I do have the first name for one of the Sims, but I don't have the one for this one. But I do know what his traits are going to be. He is going to be absolutely maximum in neatness. There is only a selection that you can pick from. You actually don't need to select all of them. I could make a sim that is like that, the absolute lowest of the low in all of his stats, but we're not going to do that because it doesn't give him an astrological sign. Let's have maximum in neatness and maximum in active, which makes him very active and very neat, and the rest of it goes into being nice. His playfulness means that he's very serious, and his outgoingness means that he's very, very shy. I wonder what I'm going to call this sim. You know what? He's going to be Samuel. Or Sam Newell, apparently. No, Samuel Smith indeed. And we're going to give him a very short bio, because why not? One of twins. Samuel is the oldest. and some would say the sharper dressed of the two. Perhaps he is. We'll find out. A neat freak and very active, he strives to be successful and make something of himself. Will he succeed? Will he succeed indeed? Who can say? But now that we have done this, we have one sim, Samuel Smith. We could add up to 7 more, but we're not going to. There we go, just one sim. There is somebody else that we want to make though, and that is that we want to make another sim with the Smith name. There we go. This one is not going to be Samuel. This one is going to be Dave. And I need to find a thing for Dave here. That is also quite a snazzy hat there, but we're not going to pick that one. I think there's one I'm looking for in particular. Also, the hats are pretty much stuck on your head if you do pick someone with a hat. There is one I'm looking for, and I haven't found it yet. Ah, is that it? That might be it. I'll remember that that one is there. There is a large selection, I think, of pretty much every expansion added a little bit more, including one with a weird sort of warrior helmet on it. Don't think we're going to be picking that one somehow. I don't think we've cycled all the way through yet. I think there's more still to go. Any more? There are a few, also a few with glasses there. Ah, that's the one we want. There we go. And now we need to go and find a set of clothing for this one. Not the same as his twin brother, but something else completely. I wonder what we'll pick. That is rather snazzy, wouldn't you say? That is very snazzy indeed. But maybe not. Maybe not. Also, you can have him wear practically nothing if you like. And no, he won't be not allowed to go into anywhere dressed like that. They'll just be like, oh, fancy 5-star restaurant? Come on in, you appear to be perfectly dressed. Well, at least you're wearing shoes. Okay, that is just brilliant. That is a brilliant, brilliant thing. Yes, that is perfect. That is perfect. And what are Dave's traits going to be? Exactly the opposite of his brother. He's going to be as outgoing as possible, as playful as possible, and nice is going to remain pretty much the same. He is a Libra. Right, one of twins. Dave is the youngest. And also the sharpest dressed, if you asked him. No, I was about to say terribly social, no. Outgoing, and, I'm trying to think of a way to describe playful here. Outgoing and... because it doesn't tell you exactly what it is. Outgoing and obsessed with having fun, and focused on having fun. Dave always knows where the party is at, and strives to be successful at being awesome. Will he succeed? We don't know if he'll succeed, but there is the second family right there. There is Dave, and there is Samuel. They are both related, but they don't really talk to each other that much, and they both have fantastic hair. Now, one of them is going to move into a house that already exists, and the other one is going to build a house from scratch. And to build a house from scratch, we're going to go into, and there is Loch Ness. Hello, how are you? So long! There, by the way, is where you find the credits, and there are 8 neighborhoods. There were a fair few added in the, I think Living Large added a few more neighborhoods, but there are a lot more added eventually, a grand total of 8. But I think the only difference really is this area in them. I think the second neighborhood has a different family. It doesn't have the newbies or the goths, but what we're going to do is we're going to build a house here on this very cheap lot. And now the music, I think, from downtown is active at the moment. So we're going to build a house, and we're going to build one using the build tools here. There is the ability to make loads of hills or flatten them. You can also put water or a swimming pool in. You can build walls, wallpaper, stairs, and fireplaces. Some of these fireplaces are really nice, like room 11 is fantastic. You've got to be careful with fireplaces though. One of the ways to kill Sims involves a fireplace. There's floor tiling, there's doors and windows, and changing the type of roof and moving everything. We want to make this a rather small house, so we're going to start here and just start deploying walls. Before, I think you could only really build houses when a sim was there, but here we're just going to build one and not worry about the sim being here. We're not going to furnish it, however. We'll leave that to the sim when he moves in. This realistically is actually as much of a room as we actually need. This would be more than sufficient for building a house for one person. In fact, this very much might be overkill. There are many wallpapers, and each of them does have a description and a cost for per little section that it is painting. We want to have an external one right now, and one that fits in with pretty much a wall motif. We could have, for instance, a brownstone one, but I think we're looking for one that just looks like brick. Smooth red bricks is a very good option. Yep, I think that might do. As you can see here, we have just a massive area with what is enclosed with bricks, and a roof that really doesn't fit. We're going to find one that fits, like for instance, maybe this one. Or maybe this one. You know what? That one actually looks better, although we won't really be seeing the roof that much. We also want to get floor tiling here. Mainly at the moment we want to find one that fits in with this, and there is one that fits in with that. I just need to find it. I think it costs about 8 simoleons. These really don't have any impact on anything apart from your what you want things to look like. The wallpaper and the floors never really give a room stat. It's all a purpose of what you like. There we go, cement. The description being pathway, porch or patio, your pick. We're going to pick it being a pathway towards here where we want a door. But what kind of door? This door, the Windsor door. It's a door I like to pick for the front door quite often. There we go. Now we have a door, which means we can go in. But going in is only half of what we want here. We actually want a, we want an actual bedroom, a bathroom, and we also want a, most certainly want the area we're going to be living in. And that is a good split right there. That is going to be the living area, this is going to be the bathroom, and this is going to be the bedroom. So we want some nice things to go with it. For instance, we want a sort of tiled thing to work with the bathroom here. We could go with very expensive designs for the floor, but this is probably just absolutely fine. And we want some carpet. Some very cheap carpet. Like, for instance, the one that I pretty much always use at the beginning, just the sort of blue one. A nice carpet that serves all purposes. Well, unless you want to put it in the bathroom, that's not a good idea. And there is just a sheer amount of potential wallpapers, so many that were added with every expansion. We could put that there. You know what? That actually works quite nicely. There we go. Let's find a nice wallpaper. This is a, well, it's sort of a wallpaper. I sometimes use it, but don't really feel like using it for that one. Maybe this one. That could work. We have a very blue room there. It's very blue. We might have that as the main room, but really, you can do whatever you want when you're designing a house. I mean, it's just absurd how many choices that you're given. You can do pretty much... Actually, is that better? No, it's not. I think what I had before works just fine. This one? Do you know what? That one will do. That one will do. And we want a carpet for here. Do we want that one? It's rather dull, though. It is rather dull. We may be changing some of the carpet as we're going on, but right now let's just leave it as it is, and or rather the area as grass. You could actually just have it be grass. It's not a good idea. Do you really want to live in a house that has grass everywhere? We do want some doors on the inside, though. What do we want? There are particular doors. There's that door, for instance, but we want a really cheap door. Like this door. We want one here. We want one here. Do we want one that's there? Do you know what? Having a door there actually sort of works in the being able to go from here to there, so you don't have to go out and then back in. That's actually quite efficient. The game pretty much is a glorified it's like time management. What you're doing is managing your time. And it's a question as to if you want to manage it efficiently or if you want to manage it inefficiently, just for the fun of it. Also, that is a very blue carpet indeed. There is something I do want to do right now, and that is to put some windows in. Windows are very important, and they do provide quite a bit of light. You also want to make sure that you put them in such a way that they sort of go with an aesthetic. Like, for instance, here. It almost looks like how a house would be. And we don't want to have any big windows in there. The main reason being is that if you have a big window in there, people can just look in. There are smaller windows, like this one here, the privacy window, that will allow light to come in without giving everyone a view of what's inside the bathroom. And now everything is so much more illuminated, but only during the day. Bearing in mind it's always nice and sunny here in The Sims 1, it's never a dull day at all. Let's see, what do we want here? We have unlimited money while we're developing a house, and I would spend ages developing houses. That is an interesting colour for a carpet. You know what is such an interesting colour for a carpet? We're going with it. We're going with that colour for a carpet right there. But I used to spend absolutely ages designing houses in The Sims. I would actually challenge myself to see how small a house I could build with that would be fully functionable, and I think a 4x3 house is the smallest I ever got it. Also, we want a small amount of greenery here. This does require being watered and maintained, but it does make the house look really nice indeed. And now, let us focus on actually buying... Oh, actually no, let's focus on getting a few windows here. There we go. Now let us focus on buying things. And also, we want to change the music by going into the options mode here. Let's start buying things. Did I actually want to buy things? Oh, why not? Let's go and buy things, shall we? Let's go and decorate this house with items. For instance, we want to get a toilet in here. A fairly functional toilet. Like, for instance, this one here. It does the job. It doesn't have any room stat. I think that one has a room stat, but it also gives you minus hygiene. I think that's from the Living Large expansion. We also want a shower, and we also want a sink. A sink right here. There we go. Actually, does it make more sense to have... it does make more sense to have the toilet over there and the shower here. There we go. Efficiencies already. We also, I think, want a mirror here at some point. So let's see if we can find a mirror. Where are the mirrors kept? They're not kept in here, are they? No, they are not. I don't remember where the mirrors are kept whatsoever. But if we click here, we can find things for there. Like, for instance, there we go. That. Excellent. I don't know why there's a little bit of a speck of green there. Oh, it's gone when you move further in. That's okay. We could actually put it there. Why not? That makes a little more sense. We could put some lighting in here. There are options for lighting, but we'll deal with lighting later. And beds. Beds are very important in this game. If there's only 2 things that you ever spend a lot of money on, spend them on nice comfortable shoes and a nice comfortable bed, because you're going to spend a lot of time in bed and a lot of time in those shoes. You also potentially want a set of drawers so that you can go and change your clothes when you want to. I don't remember where the drawers are kept though. They're not kept there. Ah, they're kept here in the wardrobe section. Aha! Funny that they'd be in the area where I thought they'd be in. We could actually afford a quite nice wardrobe here. There we go. Not bad at all. And now we want to focus on this main room here. There are a few things that we want. For instance, we want to start building the kitchen area. The kitchen area is a very important thing to do. We could use that there, or we could use a different counter, like for instance this one here. We want a few counters, but primarily we want to actually start getting the things that are most useful, like a fridge. We could get a pretty decent fridge, but there's really not much difference between the quality of food you get there and the price. That is double the price for a fridge that only provides 1 more hunger. So we'll have the basic fridge here. What else do we want? I think we want a food processor. It provides 3 more hunger, and is generally a good thing indeed. And I think we want to get rid of that there, and get a stove. A basic stove will do the trick right now. We could get a brick oven, but no, a basic stove is a not bad idea. What else do we also want? We want we definitely want that there, so we can put food there if we make multiple selections of it. Do we want a dishwasher? We do. Dishwashers are always a good idea. In fact, we can be efficient with our spacing, and we can put the food processor on top of the dishwasher. And also getting a trash compactor is a really good idea. We can also use the trash compactor to store food on top. See? Efficiencies already! But I think we do want a little bit of a nice item that we can have. So let's do things a little differently, shall we? We'll put that there, and we'll put this here. This is where all of your time in The Sims can go. It can go into just, like, designing really awesome things, like houses, for instance. Fortunately, when we've built a house, we don't really need to build it again. So we'll put that there, we'll put this here, and we actually, I think, want to get a coffee machine. Why not? Well, why not indeed? Because coffee machines can be useful sometimes. Also, putting it properly on top of the trash compactor is an odd choice, but it will work. And now we want to go back into the build mode here and change the flooring around where the kitchen is, because you don't want to have carpet right by where the kitchen is. You want tiling, and so we're going to put some tiles in. There we go. A selection of tiles to make it look more like a kitchen. And while we're here, let's get something rather important. Let's get a smoke alarm. Because if something goes wrong, like for instance, you start burning things, which can happen quite a lot in The Sims, you want to make sure that the fire brigade is called immediately. And that will do that. And also a burglar alarm while we're here. Because the last thing you want to have happen is for things to get stolen by a thief, and that can happen, and for them to get away scot-free. That will instantly summon the police, which is really good. There are a few more things we want in here. For instance, we want a nice, comfortable sofa, just in case we want to, actually, we want a table first to eat our food at. And we don't necessarily want a very big and fancy one. We could have that one here, and have a few chairs, just in case we have some guests. This chair, I think, adds comfort 3. It's not a terrible chair. We could get chairs to provide the room stat. They are really expensive, though. And that pretty much will do for our eating arrangements. That can seat 2 people quite comfortably. Let's also now get a television. Even though it probably won't be used that much, getting a television isn't a bad thing necessarily. It also provides something nice for, to do just in case you don't want to do anything in particular. We could put the television over there, actually. Or we could put the television over here. Now that might be a good idea. There are various televisions. This one provides Fun 4. The one the newbies had provides Fun 2, which isn't very good whatsoever. There we go. One television. And you can never really put it in the middle if there are, if there's only a 2-seater chair. Putting it there, though, is not a bad idea. We definitely want some bookshelves, though. Not a super expensive one, but also not a super cheap one either. What else do we want? I don't think we want anything else right, like there. Maybe? We might want some art. Who knows? Maybe we want a computer, though. A computer might be a very good idea, so we can do various things on a computer. It will cost a bit of money, though. Maybe we do want to actually move this, say, over to... We move it over to there, it can still be used, which is a good idea because we definitely want the computer to go over here. Computers are a big investment, but they do provide quite a lot of fun. I always tend to have a computer because it helps to be able to actually get a lot of job hunting going on. Job hunting is made much, much easier with a computer. Also, that one really doesn't provide that much fun whatsoever. Maybe I'll No, I think having a computer is probably a good idea. You can spend a lot more money and get a computer, but looks like it was made in the late 90s, if you like. It does have a joystick, though. That one has an even worse joystick. But a computer can indeed be advantageous. Plus, this sim wants to strive to success, and hey, maybe he'll find success in the digital world! Or maybe he won't. Also a telephone, a very good thing to have. Having it close to the front door is a good idea. Like there, for instance. What else do we want? There are lots of things you can get, and this is sort of a thing that The Sims can do. You can just run away with designing a house and having whatever you want in there. And really, I don't know what else to have. We could have a radio. A radio might not be a bad idea at all. But where would we put it? We could actually move that over to... No, actually putting that there is a good idea. Putting that there is a good idea, and also having a large area here is not bad either. We could spend some money and have a quite nice radio system. I usually don't tend to have these, but hey, why not, eh? Why not? I think we're actually nearly done, but there are a few things we can do, like for instance have some decorative items. Like this absolutely terrible rug. Having this absolutely terrible rug does have its advantages. Mainly, it provides some room stat, so we're going to have an absolutely terrible rug here. Do we want it that way round? We want it that way round, don't we? Just in case they want to boogie on the night away. We also want a few paintings. Any over here? This is where you want the walls to appear so that you can have a look at where the painting will go. For instance, we could have a painting right there. It looks quite nice there, wouldn't you say? I think that actually might do for this house, but we do want to have a few light fixtures. Just a couple. Some wall lights, or maybe even something hanging from the ceiling. Do we want that one? I don't think we do. We could have this one. We definitely don't want that in here. We definitely want a wall light in there. We could actually have something hanging from the ceiling. The red one, though, I'm not entirely keen on. We could have a desk light over here, or rather a lamp over here. That might do. One there, good plan. Could have one there. It does make it a little bit, they're right next to each other. It's all the designs of just like trying to build something. It's just something I find really enjoyable. Really enjoyable and just really just relaxing. Playing The Sims has always been a very relaxing thing, and I've always enjoyed doing it. Always enjoyed doing it. Also, having a light on the outside is always nice, like a light right here, just so that when you come in late at night, the light will be on, ready to welcome you home. I'm really struggling on the light fixtures, though. I should just pick some things, I think, like just a few things on the wall. But what things on the wall, indeed? Let's see if we can find one that will fit. Like, for instance, this one. Or maybe that one. There are just so many that you can select from. The options are just staggering in this expansion. But we are nearly done, I think. A light there. We just need a light in here. That is an outdoor light. We just need a light in the bathroom here, but it's not going to kill them when things inevitably start flooding. We'll have that light there, actually, I think. That light's not fantastic, but I think it will do. We could also have a light here as well. There we go. I think we could have a light there too. We could have a light there. Having a light there might not be a terrible idea, but I can't think about what kind of light to... Actually, having one in the corner there might also be a good idea. One there, and one here, maybe? No, it's in the middle of the room. That's a terrible place for a light. Having one on the ceiling, though, might work. That might be overkill on the lights, but hey, I think it's not a bad idea. Then again, maybe having it over there? No, actually, getting rid of that. I think that's probably enough light. Hopefully that's enough light anyway. We could have another light here in this corner. There we go. A house has now been built. And I don't think it looks too bad whatsoever. And that took far longer than I thought it would, but building houses always takes longer than I think it will. But hey, the house looks kind of nice, and I bet it's not that expensive either. I don't have a name for it yet. I don't have a name for it at all. So we're just going to leave it blank. And how much does it cost to live in here? The answer is probably going to be far too much. No, 17,000. That would leave a sim with about 3,000 left over. And there's this house as well, just across the way. 6 sim lanes as opposed to 9. This house already comes sort of furnished. So what we're going to do is we're going to be moving our sims into these houses pretty much right now. This sim here, this one, yep, the one that is maximum neat and outgoing and active and nice, he's going to move into this house. Into the house that pretty much is already furnished and ready to go. And this is where he's going to be spending his life. There's also a newspaper here already. We're going to save, and he's going to try his best to make his life over here, in a house pretty much next door to where his twin brother is, who's going to be living in the house that's already been built and is rather cheap. Which is very good because he's about to go and fill it up with lots of random items. For instance, he's going to probably need a sofa. He's definitely going to need a sofa. He also doesn't have a stove. That's kind of bad. We need to reposition things just a little here. Just a little. Let's see. We can put that there. We can actually put a surface there, I think. And we could put a something to cook with over here. Does that work? I don't know if it works, but we'll just have that there, I think. Much better. That's much better. Or we could put the fridge right there and cover up the phone. Do we want to put the fridge there? Actually, let's just rearrange all of this, because it's much better if it's over here. There we go. Not outside. Don't put it outside, Kiko. That's silly. We could put the bin over here, which is much better. I'm not sure he's going to be using that very often, but he's certainly welcome to have... Actually, putting that there is a better idea. There are there's a lot of simoleons left over, and he's probably not going to spend them very wisely. I mean, look at that set of shirt and pants that he's wearing. That does not scream... Also, those are red shoes. Okay, that at least is pretty nice, but the rest of it is a little bit garish. Let's have him invest in something really, really important. We could have him invest in a 6,500 simoleon computer. That's a bad idea. We could also have him invest in a wall-mounted television. But I think him having an absolutely massive plasma TV pretty much screams Dave here. Dave is certainly going to be spending a lot of money sat in front of that television. We're also going to have him get a really, really nice sofa. Or at least a really... Ah, there we go. That's the one I was looking for. Garish and green. Perfect. It is also massively too large. Then again, we could have him have one that is inflated. That might actually be better. Maybe there's a single-seater one that is also... we could have him have that one. Do you know what? He tends to... Actually, he's going to be inviting lots of people over. So really, we want him to have an absolutely massive sofa. And we'll put that there. Actually, that works much better. That works much better. There we go. And you may think, where is he going to eat his food? Well, we're going to find somewhere to eat his food. On this very... Actually, does he need anywhere to eat his food? No, he doesn't. Why is he ever going to do anything like that, eh? There's no reason for him to... Also, he needs a fantastic carpet. Ah, there we go. That's a pretty nice carpet, and we'll put that right here. Or we could put it... that's a nice carpet too, actually, for him. Why not? It gives the room some added life. And we do have a telephone that we're gonna have to move to, say, over there. Does he need anything else? He probably needs a few lights in various locations, but I think we're nearly done with this sim. I think we're definitely nearly done. Let's see, anything else? I could spend absolutely forever having a look at everything that he needs, and he doesn't have a mirror. He really needs a mirror right now. Why doesn't he have a mirror? Also, where would you find a mirror? I never remember where you'd find a mirror. Let's see, if you go into the... you go into the bedroom section here. There we go, he needs a mirror. A massive mirror. And I think we'll put it round about here. There we go. One mirror, and he also needs something to change his clothes with, because after all, he may get quite a few changes of clothes. Over here, maybe? Maybe it needs to go over there, and then the mirror needs to move to over here. That's covering up that was covering that up, but now it isn't anymore. And also, does he need anything like, I don't think he needs a fire alarm or a burglar alarm. Dave here would look at that and not consider it a worthwhile investment, if you ask me. Be like, nobody's going to rob me. Well, we'll see about that. Also, he needs some sort of music. He needs to be able to hear the music. Let's get that going, shall we? What could he have here? He could have a, those are really only room, so I think we need to get him... We could get him something really big, like that. He does like having lots of very expensive things that make music, so, why not? That is a massive amount of, stereos all piled on top of one another. Hey, how many stereos do we need on this? Oh, I don't know, 7? 7 will do. He could have... Oh, no, he has a jukebox. That is actually perfect. One jukebox coming up. I think that's a perfect investment, and definitely not a skew towards having lots of fun. I mean, who needs books after all? He has a plasma television. I'm sure he'll be fine. And when we come back, folks, we are going to be living the lives of these Sims in a sort of order-based thing, where we're going to be picking one of the Sims first, and then we'll be doing a video on that one, and then we'll be doing a video on the other Sim, and seeing how they do in the various things. But the first thing both of these Sims need to do is try and find a job, because after all, how are they ever going to be able to afford their houses if they don't find a job, eh? And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later. And I still haven't figured out how to say goodbye in Simlish. Give it some time, I'll find out. After all, I'll be studying these Sims as they live their lives, to my every whim. Or in the case of Dave, maybe not to my every whim. Maybe I'll just let him eat pizza all the time. That actually sounds like a good idea. After all, why bother to cook when someone will cook for you? Why indeed. Later.